English 112, Miss Brewer here. Quick weekly lecture video for you because you should be kind of hitting a stride at this point this week with what we're doing for the first few weeks of the course. So last week you guys finished reading Act 2, and you will participate in a discussion forum on Act 2 this week, and then read Act 3, and your journal again will be Act 3. So you can kind of see a progression here as we work through the play. I just want to make sure to go over a couple of things with you. I did put up a PDF link for you. It takes you to a resource for citing Shakespeare. So when you are participating in a discussion forum or you are participating in a journal, you should be using specific textual evidence, and what that means is direct quotes from the play. And this source, it tells you exactly how to write those quotes, and it tells you how to cite those quotes. So we are only reading Othello. So for the purposes of the discussion forum and for the purposes of your journal, you don't need to use the author's last name because it's one text that we're looking at. So the only thing that needs to go in your parenthetical citation is the act, scene, and line number. Do make sure that you're doing it the way that the source states, which is, the act, period, scene, period, line number in parentheses. When we write our paper, you will have more than one source, so then you will have to use that plus Shakespeare, okay, so that we know that that's what that is. But for the purposes of discussion forums and for the purposes of journals, you don't need to do that. I want to just talk I put a note up on discussion forum grading last week and told you exactly how I will grade your discussion forums. So Act 1 is your first graded discussion forum, so I'll begin looking at that next week. And I may do a video after I read through everyone's responses. It'll be a brief video where I just respond to you guys, because I found that in discussion forums, once you guys are done with the forum, you don't really revisit it. So if I go in after you're done and participate, you're not going to see what I say. So I will highlight some of the things you guys talk about in a video that you can kind of watch just so you get my feedback. So make sure you do, when you're submitting your discussion forums, you're using direct quotes, you're citing properly, and when you're replying to each other, that you're substantially replying. And I go over that. I went over that last week. I do want to talk about your journals a little bit too, because I do want to make sure that you guys are doing the same things in your journals that you're doing in your initial discussion forum posts, meaning textual evidence, citing information. If you write, first of all, when I have a question, your answer should not be shorter than the question. That's fairly obvious in my opinion. And when you present an idea or you present a response, I want direct information from the play. You will go back, or you'll be able to go back to your discussion forums and to your journals that you've submitted, and you can utilize things that you've pulled out for each act when we do our literary comparative analysis. So the more work you do now and the more specific you are now, the easier time you're going to have when it's time to write the paper. So you're kind of doing the legwork right now in reading the literature. So you're going to participate. I would do the discussion forum first because you should have already read Act 2, so that should be early on in the week. Then we'll go ahead and read Act 3 and make sure you get your journal in by Sunday night. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. I hope you're enjoying Othello. If you are struggling with the understanding, remember that online there are resources for you, like No Fear Shakespeare, where you can see his words and then kind of a translation where you still might need to think about what they're saying, but that might make it a little easier. But you need to use the line numbers from the play when you're citing, so make sure you have that open. All right, I will check in with you guys next week. Have a great week.